everyone, Heather Lou of Closet Core Patterns, here to talk to you about our new fall pattern this year. We're really excited about this one. It's called the Mitchell Trousers, and I'm joined by Céline, our in-house pattern maker, who is responsible for designing and drafting this style. We're really excited about this pattern, A, because it's a great pattern, and B, because we've been doing lingerie and swimwear all year, and we're really excited to start sewing clothes again. If you've been following kind of what's happening with fashion right now, it really feels like trousers are everywhere. So maybe it's just a reaction to us wearing sweatpants for 2 years in the pandemic, but it feels like it's really the time to start getting dressed again, start wearing wovens, start wearing things that maybe have like a little bit more structure and aren't just like soft lounge clothes. And while those are fun, there's also just something nice about actually getting dressed up and maybe putting a heel on and actually maybe doing your hair. But when we approach this pleated trouser, I guess we can kind of show you just a first iteration. We were initially thinking, what was the original idea?
The original idea was to have a pleats everywhere, and then to have a paper bag waist and a double pleat in the front, double dart in the back.
Yeah.
Very classic.
Yeah, so we were kind of looking at like doing a double dart in the back and then this paper bag style, just to kind of show some of the ideation. And we were even thinking, we had this idea that we would somehow make them like a jumpsuit.
Yes.
So we were working on this idea that they were going to be a paper bag waist, and then somehow that was going to transform into a jumpsuit, and we couldn't quite get there. We were like, well, why don't we just do a really classic trouser? But the problem with most pleated trousers is
it's really hard to fit them around the belly. It's too baggy. Yeah.
Like if you think of like a classic pleated 80s pant, there's like multiple pleats, and the pleats kind of end at the waistband, and then they create all of this bunchiness and volume. And so not all of us are kind of interested. I know personally I'm not interested in having like a lot of like floofy fabric near my stomach. I want it to be kind of sleek. And so we settled on doing a pleat that was kind of really anchored down. Quite a fit, like, you know, if you can see, this is like my lower hip right now. So it's the stomach area, it's all like quite flat, and then the pleat only kind of really releases below the hip.
And the main detail we wanted to work on was that pocket hiding into the pleat.
So you can see the pleat closes around the slanted pocket, and so it encloses this pocket, and it has just a really beautiful detail. Like there's a little bar tack here, and it just feels, there's a bar tack here, and it just kind of feels architectural and interesting without having like a ton of volume. The other thing that we did was we got rid of the waistband. So why did we do that?
Because it was more comfortable to have a high waist, clean front, and because we liked the little details we could add if it was facing inside, and if it was like the classic fly front, but with other detail to draw our attention to.
And then you also don't have like a waistband, which tend to be really rigid, like digging into your stomach. And right now, Céline is wearing our Pietro Pants. This is one of our best-selling pants of all time, and so there's definitely similarities. We actually use the Pietro front crotch curve and like kind of the grading and the proportions of this as a base for this. So there's some similarities, and it's the same thing. Like you can see on the Pietro that it goes all the way up to the waist, and then there's a facing on the inside, and so it just creates this really sleek line where you're not breaking it necessarily with this like horizontal waistband. So we wanted to do the same thing. So if you've made Pietro before and the fit was good for you through the front crotch, you're gonna have this similar experience with this, but obviously these are just a little bit more structured. So we have this angled pocket, like I said, we have this pleat, and then in the back we have this optional welt pockets. So these, I prefer some kind of welt pocket on the back, just to have something to dry your eye on. Just so it's not like an expansive tushy, you want to have something to kind of break it up, but you can add one welt, you can add two, you could do a fake welt, which I actually did in these, so there's no pocket bag, it's just actually the look of the welt, or you could do none, or if you have like a patch pocket from another pant pattern that you like, you can use that instead. There's kind of options there. Not everybody wants to sew a welt. And because we have this facing, it's just more comfortable. You don't have anything digging inside of you. So this seam is stabilized by a facing and interfaced facing on the inside. And it just, like we said, kind of gives you that sleek line without necessarily having to have this like really intense waistband. The other interesting thing that we love about this pattern is that they have these kind of like decorative, I mean, they are functional, but there are these adjustable waist ties that are completely optional. So here you can see that it's sewn into the front pleat here, and then in the back it's sewn into the dart. And you know, if you make the right size, which you should make the right size, you don't really need these. They just look cool. You can tuck them into the pockets if you want. If you don't like them, you can leave them off. But I like the idea that if your body changed a little bit, like maybe if your waist got a little bit smaller, you don't necessarily need to make any adjustments to the pants. You could just kind of cinch it and get the tightness that you need from your pockets. In terms of construction, the other major details, we do have a fly front. If you've sewn any of our fly front pockets before, like we take great pride in our fly front construction, so it's not as tricky or as hard as maybe fly front methods that you've tried before. The biggest difference is that the zipper ends a little bit earlier here so that we have room for all of these buttons. And so you can either do a jeans button here, you could do a regular button, you could do a hook and eye closure so that it kind of looks kind of invisible like I have here. And then the other major variation was the leg shape. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that.
So we started with a tapered leg, and then we thought it would be a really nice wide leg pant. So we tried a different kind of shapes, and this one was the final answer.
So it's like a long kind of floor skimming wide leg. So this would be the option if you wanted to wear like a boot or a heel, like the longer the better. I always say measure your inseam when you're wearing the shoes that you want to be wearing with it, just to make sure that the pants are long enough. So this would be more of a floor skimming look. You could also do these cropped, which I think would be super cool. You could also really easily make them wider if you wanted more of a palazzo style pant. And then the version I'm wearing is just a little bit cropped and a little bit pegged or tapered. And so between this pattern, you've got 2 legs, you've got a variety of options for the front button, you have a variety of options for the back pocket, and then there's this option to add this kind of functional slash decorative adjustable waist tie and then adjust it for your size. We're rating this as an intermediate. Would you say this is a hard sew?
This is not a hard sew per se, it's just that there are a lot of steps around the pleat and the pocket, but it's not really bad.
It's not tricky. I would say like if you're a confident beginner, our instructions are really thorough. You're gonna feel very held in the process of making this. And then coming up, there is a welt pocket tutorial we have on the blog, and we're also making a video. So if you're more of a video learner, you wanna understand how that comes together. Otherwise, we love this pattern. I think it can be styled a million different ways. We're working on a video where, dressing it up, dressing it down. Different fabrics, actually, that's a really important thing. So in terms of what fabrics you can use, it's kind of the sky's the limit when it comes to wovens. This right now is a cotton twill, which is the perfect, it's maybe like an 8 or 9 ounce cotton twill. It's the perfect weight. This is actually like a lighter weight, I wouldn't call it a shirting cotton, it's a textured cotton from our sister store, Core Fabrics. And I would maybe put this at like a 6 or 7 ounce weight, maybe about 180 GSM. But it's got it absolutely has enough body for this. So if you wanted to make a lighter weight pant, you could use like a light to mid-weight cotton. You could use a denim shirting, which we use for one of our samples. If you want to get into more of a mid-weight territory, like I said, a cotton twill, canvas, mid-weight denim. Of course, wool would be beautiful. And we haven't made one yet, but I'm sure it's going to work, and I'm hoping to make one out of something like a heavier viscose, so something like a tencel twill, I think would look really beautiful in this style, would have a lot more drape and maybe a little bit less structure. So lots of options for fabric, and I would say the most important thing for you making this pattern is just really making sure you choose the right size. And I can give you a perfect example right now of why you should do that. We always tell our customers to measure themselves before they make patterns, and I just assumed that I was a size 14, and so I made these in a size 14, and pandemic, everything else, I put on a little bit of weight, and I'm actually a 16 in the hip, and so what you're seeing happening right now is this pleat should be laying flat, more or less, but it's breaking. Like you can see where the press line is right here. And the pleat is splitting because my hips need more ease. And so this isn't laying as flat as it should. So if you are a 18 hip and a 20 waist, or sometimes, if you're need to grade between sizes, make that effort and actually grade between sizes. Don't do what I did. Make sure you check your measurement, your hip measurement, your waist measurement, and make sure you're actually picking the right size, because then you'll actually get these laying exactly the way they should, which is how they're laying on the dress form. Like here you can see this pleat isn't breaking like it is on me, because this is the exact size of this dress form. So I think that's it. We hope you love making the Mitchell trousers. We think they're going to be a really wonderful pattern to ease you into fall, and I think they're going to end up maybe being just as popular as Pietro. We'll have to see. Thanks everyone.